Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing the 18th number part of the PHP. In this basically we will see comment basically how to write the comment, that basically we have already discussed. Then also basically we will write see this see the examples basically of the comments. Single line comment, how to write, multiple lines, comments to ignore the code. Comments are basically to ignore the code. Multiple line comments, see. Multiple line comments that basically ignores the code basically. Code itself basically are ignored. Whatever code basically you write, that basically ignores. Means compiler basically ignores that much line basically. Now basically it's how basically the variables basically are declared basically. See basically. Declaring the PHP variable. This is number variable, character variable, PHP variables, and how basically dollar sign basically are used basically in writing. So dollar basically is a one keyword basically that you can't write anywhere basically. If you want to declare any variables and assign the values basically, that time basically the dollar basically are used. So one of the person told that this is the temp variable, right, basically. So if it's a variable, then physical place are physical place also might be there, 100% physical place might be there. So one of the person told the year how basically this everything might be getting integrated. Physical place, PHP servers, then PHP developers, PHP basically code are deployed into the servers. Then basically the PHP physical place. Here basically we have taken 1000 cities. Then basically the 1000 cities basically gets the power supply also, and power supply basically are derived from the nuclear power company, energy companies, that is the gas companies, and that basically gets processed. So PHP, assume that basically 1000 city basically are doing the process of the human needs, that is the vegetables, fruits, and oils and petrols. Then where is that place basically where this entire data basically gets processed with the help of the internet data basically, which is basically the connected with the satellite group. So one of the person told that is it basically the entire world is getting internet from one satellite. So one of the person told that basically possibilities are very less. Do you know why? Because when PHP is getting power supply from 35,000 planet basically, 35,000 crore basically, or basically take 35,000 only, we will not take too much data. So 35,000 planet basically is giving the power supply to PHP. So you can just imagine basically it's the entire internet data basically. So whatever data basically it's there, that might be coming from one satellite, that is not possible basically. So 35,000 planet, so at least basically there might be some 3,000, 4,000, or basically the 7,000, 8,000 satellites might be 100% there basically. Might be 100% there, na, basically. Or basically some very dangerous satellites basically, which might be connecting the entire 35,000 planet. That is possibilities are very less basically. Why? Because it's very difficult to control the planets basically. Because it's very highly it's very into the highly environment basically. Highly what to give the name basically, highly secured environment basically. So it's mostly it's not possible that basically that one planet, one satellite basically might be controlling the entire internet data. So mostly it might be multiple satellites basically, but main satellite might be there basically, which is basically giving the data basically. But then also basically there might be many backups basically, because it's a universe basically, so you can't rely on one data basically. But it's a highly secure universe basically. everything is basically checked, and everything basically is checked by the earth planet, and then basically the data are sent to the, so internet basically do the process of the entire human needs basically, and mostly it might be getting into the gas pipeline, and that basically gets processed. So one of the person told that how many countries basically are there. So one of the person told that 212 countries basically are there. So that 212 countries data is basically getting processed in one gas pipeline basically. That if I say, then it's correct or wrong? It might be 100% correct basically, because somewhere basically the entire world data has to be processed. Then only basically it can be used for the world basically. Then only basically after that data basically the process to the, so it's a very risky basically process. So that has to be into the some risky area only basically, where basically people might not be staying, or basically might be staying also. Why? Because somebody basically is supposed to be there who basically can look after that process basically. So few people says that it's a huge process basically, because land also basically required, land data basically is also required. So there is lots of people says that gas might be processing in the under land also basically. Why? Because you are staying in earth planet, so everything basically is connected with the earth planet. So there the data of gas energy basically has to be processed in land also basically. So that's basically depend upon the creation basically, who created the universe basically. He only basically can decide this internet gas data basically has to be processed up to what level basically. Because it's a 35,000 internet data, so they 35,000 planet basically is the base basically. From the base of that only basically everything basically gets processed. So again back to our topic basically, PHP variable that is connected with the physical area. So physical areas basically are there especially for variables basically. So dollar, for example, you have declared some 1 lakh physical areas, 1 lakh physical 1 lakh variables. So that doesn't mean that basically 1 lakh physical area might be there. It might be divided into one area only, that this is the 1 lakh physical area, where basically, so whatever basically the process basically might, and whatever the variable basically are used, what the variable do, that basically everybody knows what variable actually does. So physical area basically of variable basically are always there basically. So variable basically are created basically. So these all are the rules of the variable. If you are creating any variables, so what are the rules? So these all are things basically which is like a dollar sign is there, must be there, underscore must start with the letter or basically the underscore. So if one of the person told that if PHP is written, then basically there's some certain level of fashion basically are created. So few people say that basically underscore basically has become the fashion basically. Why basically? There might be some reason basically which might be connecting to the physical area basically. So nobody basically writes like that basically. भाई मेरे को तो underscore डालना है, I will basically will write down underscore. So it's not like that basically. Somebody has written underscore, that means something basically is connected with the physical area of that underscore character basically. So it's like that. So everything basically is connected with the physical area of the PHP. So one of the person told that where is that PHP 1000 area? So that is the area basically. The cities basically mostly are outside India basically. Mostly basically cities are outside India basically, and they are their data basically are processed, and then basically India gets the processed data. So you can just understand basically how the simple looking like variable declaration also basically is connecting up to the level basically. So it's very huge basically. It's not easy to understand this everything physical data, this data, that data. But few people says that it's good basically to understand the IT industry, how basically exactly the IT industry is basically. So this everything basically the Microsoft Corporation, they all know. Why? Because they have created the commands basically. They have created the variables, declaration, everything basically. In PHP also it's like that. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.